What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Don't Forget About Me, the Supernova version, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's jump into this awesome land resource that was introduced a couple of weeks ago with the live stream with Azurcon. So shout out to Azurcon, shout out to Beaker007, who I believe is the one behind this, or at least gathering the data and putting it together here. Now, I've had a chance to dig more into it, and somebody actually pointed this out, so just want to say thank you for that real quick. Trade Hub info. So if you go to Resource Metrics and Trade Hub info, you will see here that you can now look at the amount of DEC that is burned daily and the cumulative amount of DEC that we've burned since, we'll just say land 1.75 went live. So this is all coming in from the LPs. So keep in mind, there's a little bit of a disclaimer here, right? This chart shows estimated cumulative DEC burned based on daily snapshots of a 24-hour rolling trade volume. Snapshots are taken once per day, but the exact timing and update frequency of the source data are unknown. As a result, some of the short-term activity may be missed, and totals should be treated as indicative rather than exact. So as you can see here, there's two different things. There's two different metrics that I think are well, there's two different metrics that are being shared here, but they're both interesting. If we look at the bar graph, right, that shows the daily DEC burn. So you go back to like the first day and we burned, what, almost 300,000 DEC. Then things kind of tailed off. There wasn't as much volume, right, because keep in mind, this is all due to swaps. So every time something is swapped in the trade hub, right, whether you're swapping something for DEC for something else, or two resources between each other, they go through DEC, right? It's all done as one transaction, but it still burns a little bit of DEC through that. And you can see here that, you know, obviously we went through a little bit of a lull period, early April, and then what's fascinating is as we got into the midnight potions and the hype for Conclave Arcana became something real, it has started to pick up again. Now, it's not that much, right? We're talking about 200,000 to 300,000 DEC burn per day. In fact, we're not even hitting 200,000 on most days. So we'll just say over the last couple of days here, it's been between, like, we'll say 100 to 200,000. We haven't actually come back up to 300,000. So even though there's volume, there's not that much DEC being burned. A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that maybe DEC is closer to peg too. So keep in mind, right, from a value perspective, we're not burning as much DEC now that DEC is staying steady at peg. But it's ongoing, and this is something that, you know, as land continues to progress forward, and people go for either research, they go for SPS, or they go for or they simply go for any of the other resources, or even Aura, right? There will need to be some swapping happening. I'm sure some folks out there, a small minority of folks, will have everything so that they don't need to do any swaps, right? That they're completely sufficient in-house. But most other folks are going to be specialists, right? Not generalists. They're just going to, or even if they're generalists, they're going to have to, you know, just swap and trade and whatever. So for the most part, we're going to see this continue to go. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to go up or it's going to go down. My hope is that it does go up slowly and steadily and consistently in the long run as more and more stuff comes out with land, right? So if we get the wagons being something that people need, well, now you got to go and even if you don't have any land, you're going to have to go and buy some wood or some ore or some stone, right? From the, or iron or stone. From the trade hub. And if you don't have, you know, midnight potions or revival potions in the future, or whatever else the team can come up with for land, all these things will require land resources, which will mean we'll burn more DEC every time something is swapped. So it's not at the point where I thought it would be like, oh man, maybe we'll be doing like 1 million DEC plus or millions of DEC. Obviously, we're not there yet, but we're actually not as far off as maybe I was thinking in a worst case scenario. If you think about it, like if we're getting like 100 to 200,000 right now, that's like a 5 to 10x from here in terms of volume. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I'm not talking about the value of anything going up 5 to 10x. I'm just talking about the volume, meaning that there are things out there that people want, and so therefore they start trading for it. They start trading for the resources necessary, or people just start popping up, you know, selling more stuff on land. Because again, even if you're selling and trying to swap out of something into DEC, right, all of these will lead to resource burns. So ultimately, I think that's great. You can see here on the bar chart. Now, the cumulative chart overall is this line, right? The cumulative burn, and we'll say since March 20th, we have seen this go from 0 up to just about 4 million. It says 3.8 million right now. So it hasn't been that much, and you know, it's only been a couple of months, but 4 million is still 4 million. And like I said, this is going to be an ongoing thing as land gets more and more utility over time. I mean, as it stands right now, land does have utility ongoing forever. Well, forever in a sense through the research of Praetoria, or Secret of Praetoria research, as well as SPS, right? As long as SPS remains once the reward pool is done. But, you know, we do have shorter term things like the conflicts coming up. You can even think of like midnight potions as like a short term thing. Although my guess is that with every set moving forward, there's going to be midnight potions involved. Maybe even the reward cards, maybe even promo cards, maybe even the voucher promo cards, right? All that stuff is going to probably require midnight potions in one way or another, which will mean, you know, there will be this utility for it coming in from land, which I think is really exciting. So 4 million, not that much. 200,000 a day. It's not bad, but I'm glad that we have somebody tracking it here. I think that this is important for us to keep an eye on as we go along. And like I said, it's the cumulative compounding nature of this, where it's just a churn every single day. We're burning DEC, and over time that DEC runs low, and now there's only one place to get it, and that is by burning SPS. So that is the flywheel in essence, and hopefully we will see more of that as we move forward. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.